All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again with our Saturday morning read with our host from St. Louis, Missouri, Miss Connie Rose. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miss Connie Rose to the platform. Connie, it's good to see you. Thank you again. Continue to pour into us today with the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. This is such an exciting read. Guys, grab your pencil and paper, get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you none other than the great one out of St. Louis, Missouri, Miss Connie Rose.
Thank you so much, Dr. Parker. If you have not already gotten a pen and paper, you definitely want a pen and paper for this one. There's some foundational nuggets really for building your mindset, some really foundational things that if you get these principles, it'll make everything else so much easier. It'll kind of like the dominoes. It's one of the first big dominoes. So that's a little hint of what's coming up. So we're on page 106 and wealth file number 9. And the wealth file is rich people are bigger than their problems. Poor people are smaller than their problems. As I said earlier, getting rich is not a stroll in the park. It is a journey that is full of twists, turns, detours, and obstacles. The road to wealth is fraught with traps and pitfalls, and that's precisely why most people don't take it. They don't want the hassles, the headaches, and the responsibilities. In short, they don't want the problems. Therein lies one of the biggest differences between rich people and poor people. Rich and successful people are bigger than their problems. That's a big one. While poor and unsuccessful people are smaller than their problems. Poor people will do almost anything to avoid problems. They see a challenge and they run. The irony is that in their quest to make sure they don't have problems, they have the biggest problem of all. They're broke and miserable. The secret to success, my friends, is not to try to avoid, to get rid of or shrink from your problems. The secret is to grow yourself so that you are bigger than any problem. I'm going to tell you that's kind of like part 1 of the secret nugget, foundational nugget. I'm going to read that again. The secret is to grow yourself so that you are bigger than any problem. And what I want to say to all of you that are here today live on Saturday morning, and if you're listening to the replay, congratulations. You are taking that step. You're here. You know, I would say in the last 10 years, I've invested over 6 figures in my own personal growth and development. Actually, today, after I get off this call, I'm going to be going to an NLP training where I'm going to be coaching a room full of people who've invested money to be there. So when you know you are bigger than your problems, it makes a huge difference. So the wealth principle is the secret to success is to try to avoid or get rid of or shrink from your problems. The secret is to grow yourself so that you're bigger than any problem. And we know God is bigger than all of our problems. So there's always, a huge faith foundation there too. On a scale of 1 to 10, being the lowest, imagine you are a person with a level 2 strength of character and attitude, looking at a level 5 problem. Would this problem appear to be big or little? From a level 2 perspective, a level 5 problem would seem like a big problem. Now imagine that you've grown yourself and become a level 8 person. Would that same level 5 problem be a big problem or a little problem? Magically, the identical problem is now a little problem. Finally, imagine you work really hard on yourself and become a level 10 person. Now, is this the same level 5 problem, a big problem or a little problem? The answer is that it's no problem. It doesn't even register in your brain as a problem. There's no negative energy around it. It's just a normal occurrence to handle, like brushing your teeth or getting dressed. Note that whether you are rich or poor, playing big or small, problems do not go away. If you're breathing, you will also have so-called problems and obstacles in your life. So let me make this short and sweet. The size of the problem is never the issue. What matters is the size of you. And the great news is that you are 100% in control of that. This may be painful, but if you're ready to move to the next level of success, you're going to have to become conscious of what's really going on in your life. Ready? Here it goes. If you have a big problem in your life, all that means is that you are being a small person. Don't be fooled by appearances. Your outer world is merely a reflection of your inner world. If you want to make a permanent change, stop focusing on the size of your problems and start focusing on the size of you. So I'm going to go back a little bit and touch this. Einstein says you can never solve a problem at the same level it was created. So again, like you want to, we talk about, are you a 2 or a 4? We want to rise up. Let's grow, right? I know I hear Coach Benjamin say all the time, let's grow, with enthusiasm. So one of the not so subtle reminders I give participants at my seminar is this. Whenever you feel as if you've got a big problem, point. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this. He says, point to yourself and say, mini me, mini me, mini me. However, what I will say, because there's really no benefit in self-deprecation. However, the awareness that you're bringing, like, oh, you could catch yourself and you don't have to punish yourself. You can just catch yourself and say, oh, thanks for sharing. Now, what do I, the person that God put me here to be, what do I have to say about that? So coming from your higher self, rather than your ego-based victim self, take a deep breath. And we know that taking that deep breath helps get that heart and brain coherence going. Take a deep breath and decide right now, in this very moment, you will be a bigger person and not allow any problem or obstacle to take you out of either your happiness or your success. Now here's this, listen up. The bigger problems you can handle, the bigger business you can handle, the bigger the responsibility you can handle, the more employees or reps you can handle, the more customers you can handle, the more money you can handle, and ultimately, the more wealth you can handle. Again, your wealth can only grow to the extent that you do. The objective is to grow yourself to a place where you could overcome any problems or obstacles that get in the way of creating and keeping it once you have it. By the way, keeping your wealth is a whole other world. And we know that. And thank God we have the experts to help us with that. And unless and until we get our mind right, it doesn't even matter, right? So this is why we're here. So he said, I thought once you made it, you made it. Boy, was I in for a rude awakening as I proceeded to lose my first million almost as fast as I made it. Now, in hindsight, I understand what the issue was. At the time, my toolbox wasn't as yet big and strong enough to hold the wealth I had achieved. Again, thank goodness I practiced the principles of the millionaire mind and was able to recondition myself. Not only did I make that million back, but because of my new money blueprint, I've made millions and millions more. Best of all, I've not only kept it, it keeps growing at a phenomenal rate. Think of yourself as a container for wealth. If your container is small and your money is big, what's going to happen? You'll lose it. Your container will overflow and the excess money will spill out all over the place. You simply cannot have more money than the container. Therefore, you must grow to be a big container so that you could hold more wealth and attract more wealth. The universe abhors a vacuum. This is true. The universe abhors a vacuum. And if you have a very large money container, it will rush in to fill the space. One of the reasons rich people are bigger than their problems goes back to what we discussed earlier. They don't focus on the problem, they focus on the goal. And last week, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about rich people focus on opportunities, which is our goals, right? Again, the mind generally focuses on one predominant thing at a time, meaning that either you are whining about the problem or you're working on the solution. We know that you cannot be grateful, truly grateful, and in the space of negativity at the same time. Your brain just doesn't work that way. So rich and successful people are solution oriented. They spend their time and energy strategizing and planning the answers to challenges that come up and creating systems to make certain that the problem doesn't occur again. Poor and unsuccessful people are problem oriented. They spend their time and energy bitching and complaining, seldom come up with anything creative to alleviate the problem, let alone make sure it doesn't happen again. Rich people do not back away from their problems, do not avoid problems, and do not complain about problems. Rich people are financial warriors. In our Enlightened Warrior Training Camp, the definition of a warrior we use is one who conquers oneself. Let me say that again. The definition of a warrior enlightened warrior is one who conquers oneself. The bottom line is that if you become a master at handling problems and overcoming any obstacle, what can stop you from success? The answer is nothing. And if nothing can stop you, you are unstoppable. And if you become unstoppable, what choices do you have in life? The answer is all the choices. If you are unstoppable, I'm going to say when we are unstoppable, anything and everything is available to you. You simply choose it and it's yours. How's that for freedom? So here's our declaration. First, we're going to take a deep breath. Think about what you're grateful for in this beautiful Saturday morning. I'm grateful for all of you being here with me. And we want to touch our heart. We're our imprinting. I am bigger than any problems. I can handle any problems. Now touch your head. I have a millionaire mind. So I'm going to talk about a couple things on the homework. Write down a problem you're having in your life. Then list 10 specific actions you can take to resolve or at least improve the situation. This will move you from problem thinking into solution thinking. First, there's a good chance you'll solve the problem. Second, you'll feel a lot better. So now we're going to move on to wealth file number 10. And this is one of the foundational principles that I was alluding to earlier today. So wealth file number 10 is rich people are excellent receivers. Poor people are poor receivers. Okay. If I had to nail down the number one reason most people do not reach their full potential, it would be this. Most people are poor receivers. They may or may not be good at giving, and they are definitely bad at receiving. And because they're poor at receiving, they don't. People are challenged by receiving for several reasons. Here we go. First, many people feel unworthy or undeserving. This syndrome runs rampant in our society. I would guess that over 90% of individuals have feelings of not being good enough running through their veins. Where does this low self-esteem come from? The usual, our conditioning, right? From birth to 7, everything that comes our way, all the messages that we get go straight into our unconscious mind and form those belief systems. You know, it's the BS in our life, belief systems. So part of the work we get to do as grown adults is that we get to uncover those and dismantle those belief systems so that they're serving us. And I'm going to tell you how to do that in a second. So most of us come from, for most of us, it comes from hearing 20 no's for every yes. 10, you're doing it wrong for every you're doing it right. And 5, you're stupids for every 5, you're awesome. Even if our parents and guardians were incredibly supportive, many of us end up with feelings of not being able to continually measure up to their accolades and expectations. So once again, we're not good enough. In addition, most of us grow up with the element of punishment in our lives. This unwritten rule simply states that if you do something wrong, you will or should be punished. Some of us were punished by our parents. Some of us were punished by our teachers, and some, and even in certain religious circles, were threatened with the mother of all punishments, not getting into heaven. Of course, now that we're adults, this is all over, right? Wrong. For most people, the conditioning of punishment is so ingrained that there's no one around to punish them when they make a mistake or just aren't perfect. So they subconsciously punish themselves. When they were young, this punishment might have come in the form of, you are so bad, so no candy. Today, however, it can take the form of, you are so bad, so no money. This explains why some people limit their earnings and why others will unconsciously sabotage their success. No wonder people have difficulty receiving. One tiny mistake, and you're doomed to carry the burdens of misery and poverty for the rest of your life. A little harsh, you say. Well, since when did the mind become logical or compassionate? Again, the conditioned mind is a file folder filled with the past programming, made up meanings, and stories of drama and disaster. Making sense is not the brain's strong suit. So here's something he teaches in the seminars that might make you feel better. In the end, it doesn't matter whether you feel worthy or not. You could be rich anyway. Plenty of wealthy people don't feel overly worthy. In fact, it's one of the major motivations for people to get rich, to prove themselves and their worth to themselves or to others. The idea that self-worth is necessary for net worth is just that. It's an idea. It does not necessarily hold water for us in the real world. As we said, getting rich to prove yourself may not make you the happiest camper, so you're better off creating wealth for other reasons. But what's important here is for you to realize that your feeling of unworthiness won't prevent you from getting rich. From a strictly financial point of view, this could be actually a motivating asset. Having said that, I want you to get what I'm going to share with you loud and clear. Here we go. This could easily be one of the most important moments of your life. Are you ready? Here it goes. This is what I'm talking about. Recognize that whether you are worthy or not is a made up story. I'm going to say that again. Recognizing whether you are worthy or not is all a made up story. Again, nothing has meaning except for the meaning that we give it. That is foundational, because here's the thing. If you're thinking, let's say you're just thinking, I'm not worthy or I'm not enough. Here's my question to you. Who told you that? Who said that? And why did you believe it? It's all made up. It is an opinion. It is not a fact. It's not written down somewhere. It is an opinion. And if you said that, what else could you say? I am telling you, you could take every limiting belief that you have, challenge it with that question. Who said that? And oftentimes it is yourself. I made that up. And if I made that up, what else could I make up? Because here's the thing. Our brain is so wonderful and powerful. But this is what I will tell you. Our first thought is not always our best thought. Our first thought typically comes from our brainstem, which is that fight or flight. It's there to survive. So it's, and I'm not saying put yourself down or be negative towards yourself about it. It's just recognizing this is simply how the brain works. So now that you know that, you can say, okay, thank you for sharing. Thank you for wanting to keep me safe and small. And this is what I have to say about it, because this is the story that I'm now living into. You know, after my son went to heaven, I have gotten the opportunity to recreate. So much of my identity was as his mother. And now that he doesn't need me in quite the same way, since he's not physically here, I got to recreate who I say I am. And it's all made up. So I'm like, if you're going to make it up, you might as well make it up so that it's juicy and wonderful. So this is like what I'm telling you. If you could get this concept, the little mindless chatter that's in our head, that's holding us back in almost every area of our life, you could look at those thoughts, challenge them. What is the story that I made up? Who said it? And what do I have to say about it now? So again, I'm going to keep going. I get so fired up about this because I'm telling you, if you could really own the story of your life, you know, that's part of the reason my company is called Own Your Life. If you could really get this, things will drastically change for your life for the better, based on the story that you tell yourself and the creation that you are creating. So here he says, I don't know about you, but I've never heard of anybody who went through the stamping lineup at birth. Can you imagine God stamping each person's forehead as he or she came through? Worthy, unworthy, worthy, worthy, unworthy. Yuck, definitely unworthy. Sorry, I don't think it works that way. There's no one who comes around and stamps you worthy or unworthy. You do that. You are the judge and jury. You made it up. You decide it. You and you alone determine if you're going to be worthy. It's simply your perspective. You know, I have my readers to function these days. And when I'm wearing these glasses, I can see things that I cannot see typically. So what glasses are you wearing? Are you wearing the I'm not worthy glasses? And that way, that's all you see? Or are you wearing the glasses that say, I'm worthy. I am here to make a difference. I have a millionaire mind. I'm contribution. The glasses that you wear is the stories that you tell yourself. So I told you I get fired up about this. Okay, so if you say you're not worthy, you're not. Either way, and if you say you're worthy, you are. Either way, you're going to live into your story. This is so critical. I'm going to say it again. You will live into your story. It's that simple. So why would people do that to themselves? Why would people make up the story that they're not worthy? It's just the nature of the human mind. The protective part of it, it's always looking for what's wrong. Ever notice this, that a squirrel doesn't worry about their feelings? Can you even imagine a squirrel saying, I'm not going to collect mini nuts this year to prepare for winter because I'm not worthy? Doubtful, because these low intelligence creatures would never do that to themselves. Only the most evolved creature on the planet, human beings, has the ability to limit itself like this. I'm going to skip ahead because I spent so much time talking about this concept. and he goes into this ceremony where he like anoints you as worthy. And you know what? Here's the deal. You're worthy because you're here. God has made you worthy. I don't need to anoint you to say you're worthy, because God already has, and you get to step into that. So I'm not going to read that he does this, because I don't necessarily agree with that. I do agree with it is a story and you get to decide. So let's keep moving. Giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. Whoever decided that it was better to give than to receive was simply bad at math, because here's the deal. For every giver, there must be a receiver, and for every receiver, there must be a giver. Think about it. How could you give if there weren't someone or something there to receive? Both have to be in perfect balance and work 1-to-1, 50-50. And since giving and receiving must always equal each other, they must always be equal in importance. Besides, how does it feel to give? Most of us would agree that giving feels wonderful and fulfilling. Conversely, how does it feel when you want to give and the other person isn't willing to receive it? Most of us would agree that it feels terrible. So know this: if you are not willing to receive, then you are ripping off those who want to give to you. You're actually denying them the joy and pleasure that comes from giving. Instead, they feel lousy. Why? Again, everything is energy. And when you want to give, but you can't, that energy cannot be expressed and gets stuck in you. That stuck energy then turns into negative emotions. To make matters worse, when you are not willing to fully receive, you're training the universe to not give to you. It's simple. If you aren't willing to receive your share, it will go to someone else who is. That's one of the reasons the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Not because they're any more worthy, but because they're willing to receive, while most poor people are not. And then he gives an example about nature and camping, because nature is not discriminatory. I mean, you could look at nature for so many of these teachings. So he goes on to say, he has a prayer, a tongue-in-cheek prayer, but the lesson's obvious. And then I have another prayer I want to that I want to share with you. He says, universe, if anyone has something great coming to them and they're not willing to take it, send it to me. I am open and willing to receive all of your blessings. Thank you. And what I will tell you, I have a practice of whenever something really great happens, I always say to the Lord, thank you. And then I was taught to say, thank you and more, please, because our Father wants to shower us with everything that we're willing to receive. So I always say, thank you and more, please. And guess what happens? Because my glasses are, I'm expecting that, then what happens, right? You know, this is some foundational things here. So rich people work hard and believe it's perfectly appropriate to be well rewarded for their efforts and the value they provide for others. Poor people work hard, but due to their feelings of unworthiness, they believe that it's inappropriate for them to be well rewarded for their efforts and the value they provide. This belief sets them up to be perfect victims. And of course, how can you be a good victim if you're well rewarded? Many poor people actually believe they are better people because they are poor. Somehow they believe they're more pious or spiritual or good. Baloney. The only thing poor people are is poor. I had a gentleman at the course come to me in tears. He said, I just don't see how I can feel good about having a lot of money when others have little. I asked him a few simple questions. What good do you do for poor people by being one of them? Whom do you help by being broke? Aren't you just another mouth to feed then? Wouldn't it be more effective for you to create wealth for yourself and then be able to really help others from a place of strength instead of weakness? He stopped crying. He said, for the first time, I got it. I can't believe what garbage I've been thinking. Harv, I believe the time has come for me to get rich and along the way, help others. Thank you. He went back to his seat a new man. He got an email not long ago from him telling he's making 10 times what he used to be able to earn, and he's feeling awesome about it. Best of all, he says it feels tremendous being able to assist some of his family and friends who are still struggling. This leads me to another important point. If you have the wherewithal to have a lot of money, have it. Why? Because the truth is, we are extremely fortunate to be living in this society, a society whereby each person is in fact rich compared to many other parts of the world. Some people don't ever have the opportunity to have a lot of money. If you're one of the lucky people that do have that ability, each and every one of you is, or you wouldn't be reading a book like this. Then use your wherewithal for all it's worth. Get really rich and then help people who don't have the opportunity that you did. Now that makes a lot more sense to me than being broke and helping no one. Of course, there are people who will say money will change me. If I get rich, I might turn into some kind of greedy jerk. First, the only people who say that are poor people. It's just another justification for their failure. And it comes from just another one of their many inner weeds in their financial garden. Don't buy it. Second, let me set the record straight. Money will only make you more of what you already are. It is a tool. That is what it is. It is a tool. It'll just enhance whatever you're currently doing. If you're mean, money will afford you the opportunity to be meaner. If you're kind, money will afford you the opportunity to be kinder. If you're a jerk, money will afford you the opportunity to be jerkier. I know there's no such word, but if you were a jerk, you'd really find a way. If you're generous, more money will simply allow you to be more generous. And anyone who tells you differently is broke. And to get some really great Bible-based teachings on this, if you have not listened in to Dr. Parker's Faith and Finance presentation on Tuesday morning and Friday evening, he sets the record straight what God says about people and money. So check that out if you haven't. And I know we got a big event we'll talk about in a minute for next week about that too. So what to do? How do you become a good receiver? First, begin to nurture yourself. Remember, people are creatures of habit, and therefore you'll have to consciously practice receiving the best life has to offer. One of the key elements in money management system we teach is having a play account where you get to blow a designated amount of money on things that nurture you and allow you to feel like a million. This account is to help you validate your worthiness and strengthen your receiving muscle. Second, I want you to practice going crazy with excitement and gratitude anytime you find or receive any money. It's funny, when I was broke and I saw a penny on the ground, I would never stoop so low to pick up a lowly penny. Now that I'm rich, however, I pick up anything that even looks like money. Then I give it a kiss for good luck and declare out loud, I am a money magnet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't stand there judging the denomination. Money is money, and finding money is a blessing from the universe. Now that I'm willing to receive anything and everything that comes my way, I do. Being open and willing to receive is absolutely critical if you want to create wealth. It's also critical if you want to keep it. If you are a poor receiver and you somehow fall into a substantial amount of money, chances are it'll be gone just as quickly. Again, first the inner, then the outer. First, expand your receiving box, then watch as the money comes in to fill it. Again, the universe abhors a vacuum. In other words, an empty space will always be filled. Have you ever noticed what happens with an empty closet or garage? It usually doesn't stay that way for long, does it? Have you also noticed how strange it is for the first time that the time taken for any task will always be equal to the time given? Once you expand your capacity to receive, you will. Also, once you become truly open to receiving, the rest of your life will open up. Not only will you receive more money, you'll also receive much more love, more peace, more happiness, more fulfillment. Why? Because another principle I constantly use states, how you do anything is how you do everything. The way you are in one area is usually the way you are in all areas. If you've been blocking yourself from receiving money, chances are you've been blocking yourself from receiving everything else that's good in life. The mind doesn't usually delineate specifically where you are a poor receiver. In fact, it's just the opposite. The mind has a habit of overgeneralizing and says, the way it is the way it is everywhere and always. So if you're a poor receiver, you're a poor receiver in all areas. The good news is that when you become an excellent receiver, thank you and more, please, you'll become an excellent receiver everywhere and open to receiving all that the universe has to offer in all areas of your life. Now, the only thing you'll have to remember is to keep saying thank you as you receive all your blessings. So let's take another deep breath. Here's our declaration. Hand on your heart. I am an excellent receiver. I am open and willing to receive massive amounts of money in my life. I'm going to say that again. I am an excellent receiver. I am open and willing to receive massive amounts of money into my life. Touch your head. I have a millionaire mind. So here's some of the homework. Practice being an excellent receiver. Each time someone gives you a compliment of any sort, simply say thank you. Do not return a compliment to that person at the same time. It doesn't say ever, just at that moment. This allows you to fully receive and own the compliment instead of deflecting it, as most people do. This also allows the giver the compliment, the joy of giving a gift without being thrown back at them. 2, I mean any money that you find or receive should be enthusiastically celebrated. Go ahead and scream out, I'm a money magnet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. More, please. This goes for money you find on the ground, money you get as gifts, for money you get from the government, for money you get as a paycheck, and for money you get from your business. Remember, the universe is set up to support you. If you keep declaring that you are a money magnet, and especially if you have the proof, the universe will simply say, okay, and send you more. Number 3, I like this one. Pamper yourself. At least once a month, do something special to nurture yourself and your spirit. Get a massage, a manicure, a pedicure. Take yourself for an extravagant lunch or dinner. Rent a boat for the week or a weekend cottage. Have someone bring you breakfast in bed. You might have to trade with a family member or friend. Do things that will allow you to feel rich and deserving. Again, everything's a brain pattern and a frequency, right? So this vibrational energy you emit from this kind of experience will send a message to the universe that you live abundantly. And again, the universe will simply do its job and say, okay, and give you opportunities for more. So that's what I have, Dr. Parker. I would love to hear what you heard and maybe heard newly.
I am a money magnet.
Yes, you are.
Hey, listen, here's another one for you. Self-worth is tied to your network. And that is so strong. I like when you talked about, he says, when you hear these things or you have these thoughts about yourself that are negative, who told you that? Who said that? So it's on us. We have the ability to make these shifts, Connie, to take ourselves to a different level. And it all starts with our mind. It's mental. This is where it all starts. If we get it there, believe me, it turns into reality. So we get a chance to make our own life. We're writing this book. And I kind of like being the author and dictating the terms myself. I know how this thing is going to end because I am the author and I have control of that, total control of that. But listen, you got people fired up this morning. They want to chime in. So first up, look like Miss Bartley. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, you can hear me well?
Yes, ma'am, we got you. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Dr. Parker. Gosh, sorry, Dr. Parker, Connie, Benjamin McCray, all the leaders in their prospective places. I missed you guys last weekend. First and foremost, I was at the game-changing event in ATL, and it was nothing shorter than amazing. I loved it. I learned. I lived in the moment. Yes, I was nervous, had anxiety, but I did it anyway. I felt the fear and did it anyway. So let's get into it. This is juicy today. Listen. Oh, so many moments, Connie. Okay. One, I can have both. Right? I love that I don't have to choose. I love that I am bigger than my problems, and a problem is another thing to do, right? Oh, that was so good. Growing myself. So I have to do that. So I have the capacity to accept it and keep it. Oh, so good. Herb talked about the container. At all points, we have to realize we are growing or we are dying. You see, we have to learn to grow ourselves. Another one, in times past, I didn't, what can I say, embrace conflict. All right. As a matter of fact, I hated it. The blueprint that I inherited wasn't designed for me to deal with it. So yeah, that was like a fight or flight scenario for me. But now that I know better, I will do better, right? Brian Bean broke us up into different groups. His group, I was able to go to his group as we were switching around the room. It was so much time. We didn't have that much time. So I missed like one group, but I was fortunate to be involved in his group, and his group was the presentation. So Connie, my question to you is nervousness and fear synonymous, or are they different?
I think they're very different because it's all energy, right? And actually the nervousness, you can actually convert that energy into excitement pretty easily. So it's where your mind is what your mind is focused on. whether you're going to take that energy of the nervousness and convert it, or are you going to go down into like fear and anxiety and all of that?
Got it. Because what they say about fear is curiosity or trust or courage or calmness. So I had to channel that into the opposite thing. So, I mean, it was such an eye-opening moment because these readings helped me to shift my mind, shift it all. So it just was so nice and so refreshing to actually be in the moment and go through and what's the word I'm looking for, to actually practically put in what I've learned in these readings there. So I'm just so grateful for this platform. And another one so I can let someone else go, about the giving and receiving. I had to be willing to receive. I started doing the thing with the compliments, right? And because like you do, I listen to the book. I'm driving all day. So I listen to the book constantly so I can prepare myself for today, so I can have input. And the compliment thing, I get compliments all the time and I find myself putting it back out there. So now I've learned to stop and let the enemy accept the good things to me and then come back later on and give them, but at that moment, I'll accept it, right? Talk about the pennies and the quarters and the dimes I found. Boy, yeah. Listen, I am a money magnet, right? Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. Thank you, Connie, for saying more, please. More, please. I thank you so much, man. This is great this morning. Thank you.
I think you caught some of my fire. You're on fire this morning. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Oh, God, what an impact. What an impact. Listen, next up, the great one, Mr. Benjamin McCray. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I have a millionaire mind. I am a money magnet. Listen, Miss Bartley hit it all.
She did.
She took all the notes, but no, absolutely amazing. One of the things I just wanted to hit on is awesome job, first and foremost, Connie, always bring it. The fact, it's so funny how we are hard to receive compliments. It's almost uncomfortable where we reflect it back easily. And I've tried it, where they say, oh, Benjamin, you're doing great, da, 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 da. And then you just easily give it back because you're uncomfortable in receiving. The blessing is certainly receiving, because in receiving, you could certainly give. And that's something that I will certainly work on and encourage everyone to do the same, because it all reciprocates. You have to be in a position to receive in order to give. And so that's pretty powerful. Good stuff.
Thanks.
Wow, that's strong. Go ahead, Con.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you. It's everything's a brain pattern and a frequency, right? You hear me say that a lot. So the uncomfortable about receiving the compliments, it's simply that our brain hasn't had that brain pattern enough yet. And the more you do it, the more you practice it, the more it gets comfortable, I will tell you. Because I took that on a few years ago and I just thank you. And then I will say, I do catch myself sometimes and say, no, I'm really like this, I'm more this, or, I'll try to adjust it. And I'm like, so this is a great reminder to say, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, Connie, I always say too, we can't pour out of an empty vessel.
That's right.
We have to receive so we can pour out. And if we just always giving it back, what are we giving back actually if we're not receiving enough to pour into others?
Absolutely. Oprah Winfrey said you can't, if your cup is not full, you can't give. And I wanted to add on to Miss Bartley, when something that freed me up a long time ago. I'll never forget when I was in a practice company. They threw me in front of the room. I was sweating bullets in front of presenting for the first time in front of like 500 people. It was crazy. But and that fear or nervousness, it don't go away. You embrace it, you rechannel it. But what gave me peace was Les Brown. The great Les Brown said, most entertainers and presenters are always nervous in the beginning. And most of us are allowing that feeling to stop us for jumping into our greatness, becoming presenters and PBRs and things of that nature. You will always have that feeling. You just have to move beyond that feeling, embrace it, and channel it into becoming great and taking control of your business. So that's key.
Yeah, because he's definitely one of those level 10 people, right? So the problem of having that energy, excitement, that whatever you want to label it, that's not a huge problem to him because he knows how to channel it into something that's going to, bring him to the next level. Yeah. I love Les Brown. Thanks for bringing him up.
Awesome stuff. Yes, sir. Les Brown is great. Hey, next up, Miss Ana Rodriguez. Buenos dias, Ana.
Buenos días, Gerardo. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, bien. Gracias.
¿Cómo están todos?
Todo bien, todo bien.
Todos bien. Oh my God, excellent reading today, Connie. I really love it. Like, this is my therapy class in the morning, time in the morning with you for free. So I love it.
Thank you for being here. You're amazing.
No. I love it. This is really deep and really good. One thing when you were reading and you were talking about the containers, it took me back to the Bible in a place that I read about one time that a widow, I believe, was encountered with the prophet. I believe was Elias. I don't remember it. Elias, and she was like broke, and she didn't have any money. But then he asked a question, "What do you have?" And the only thing that she had was one container with oil. So he was like, he told her, like, go get all the containers that you have, even ask your neighbors for more containers.
Yes.
And the funny thing, and the big point here is that she was getting more oil until she had more empty containers. So the point is here that we don't get anything because we don't ask, and we don't have anything to receive. So when you were talking about the empty container to be ready to fill it out, I was just thinking about that passage, and that was really deep. So we really need to take this reading to our life and embrace it and do it every day and be willing to receive, because it's God is willing to give. We just need to be willing to receive. So thank you so much, Connie, for that reading.
Oh, my pleasure. It's my joy. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, Anna, great story, but you see the tie as it relates to biblical principles and this reading, our thinking and all of that. And as you said, God is willing to give. We've just got to position ourselves to receive. And then when we receive, we have the ability to give more. It's been said, quoting Oprah Winfrey, that if if your cup is not full, you can't possibly give. So, guys, this is good stuff. This is deep stuff. It's heavy. But hey, who's up next? There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Southern California's own Mr. Fernando Ramirez.
Happy Saturday. Great to be here and drinking my coffee, paying attention to Connie's reading. I felt her reading. Can you hear me?
Feliz Sábado, my friend.
No, Feliz Sábado, amigo. Well, there's one thing that really hits me, and someone always used to say this. He was a trainer that I work with, and that's how I met Anna back in the day, a real estate trainer. He always said this in his events: how you do anything is how you do everything.
Wow.
So I mean, going back to this reading, and then it says the way you are in one area is usually the way you are in all areas. So, to be a great receiver, I believe, we have to do a lot of voluntary work. Do things just because you love doing them, and for some reason you get in return from all areas of your life blessings. Saturday mornings and having Connie, read with us and read for us, it's voluntary work. And I just want to thank her, because what she's doing, and I know she's aware of it, and she's getting in return what she's giving. So I just want to give you kudos, Connie. I really appreciate your commitment, your dedication, what you're doing for us on Saturdays. I love it. I love it. It's just, I love our team. I love everyone that is here with us. I love what Anna shared this morning. I love what everyone has shared. Coach Ben, Monifa, Bartley. I mean, I'm like, wow. And then Dr. GW, always his high level of energy. I mean, we're giving. And that's why being here every morning puts us in a state of mind frame that we can conquer anything. And if we're all on the same page, which I know we are, it makes me thrill. It makes me thrill because right now I could be sleeping Saturday morning, right? And then waking up to do what? No, I love to wake up to this. This is my vitamin A, my vitamin D, my vitamin A for great attitude, D for determination. Thank you very much, Connie.
Thank you so much. It really is my joy.
I love it.
It you know, and I will tell you, I do believe, I feel like I get more out of this than I'm giving to you guys. It is because it is a great way to start off my Saturday morning. I have my partner in crime, Shannon Schindler, we have a Soul Sister Adventure women's group. So if you want to join us on Facebook, we are all about empowering women. And we have a podcast. And so I've been recycling this material for our podcast. And so she always calls me at 9:30 because in Central Time, that's where we're at now. And she says, like, give me the juice. What's going on? Like, how did it go? And it just continues and ripples throughout. So like, I'm so grateful for the opportunity. So thank you.
Wow. How you do some things to how you do everything.
For sure.
Unbelievable. Thank you, Fernando. Thank you, Connie. And yes, we are all in agreement that we truly love what you bring to the table and giving us an opportunity to spend time with you. And you pour into us the way you do. It's phenomenal, guys. No question about it. Hey, who else is out there this morning? Any comments before we jump off to get on to our 11 a.m. platform with Ms. Benjamin McCray? The overview is in queue, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready to launch. And guys, send out those last minute texts, make those last minute phone calls. You want as many people in front of that 11 a.m. platform as possible. Now is the time to close it out. That promotion with the MWR Financial event is still alive. We got till August 10th to qualify for the cruise. 1 ticket, 2 tickets, your choice. But it's on the table. So at 11 a.m., it's going to give us an opportunity to get people in front of MWR Financial. And who better than to present on your behalf and my behalf than Mr. Benjamin McCray. Guys, anybody else before we wrap it up?
Can you, while we're waiting for other people to raise their hand, tonight's training, Coach Benjamin is also going to be talking about the art of placements, because we have this amazing comp plan that allows you 60 days to place people to really rank up faster. And so you don't want to miss that. Let your teams know about that. And then also, Dr. Parker, can you talk about what's happening next Saturday?
Oh, next Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be exciting. It starts at 11 a.m., goes until 2. We have our Faith and Finance presentation. It is a pastoral stewardship summit. We've got commitments from around the country for pastors who are already engaged in the platform, and even those who are not engaged are coming to see and hear what all the excitement is about. Guys, it's going to be a star-studded cast. You want to be there. You want to drive every church leader, every pastor that you know, have ever known, ever heard of. Get them in front of the opportunity as it relates to faith and finance. Next Saturday is going to be a phenomenal event. It's going to be a panel discussion. We're going to peel back this whole concept on faith and finance. We believe that we can be rich and serve God at the same time. Believe that He would have it no other way. So we're going to talk about that from pure spiritual perspective. We're going to have pastors on the platform. They're going to talk about the success they've had with this platform, their program, installing this financial stewardship platform through MWR Financial. We're going to have members of their church body that are going to be able to give testimonies about what the program has done for them. Guys, it's going to be hot. We will have the MWR Financial CEO and founder, Mr. Brian House, is going to be on the platform also. So it's going to be a big one. I strongly encourage you to get every church leader and pastor in front of it on next Saturday. Virtual, from the comfort of their home. Nobody's got to go to an event, or leave their house to be a part of this event. This is going to be big. So thank you, Connie, for allowing me to mention that.
The other thing, since no one else has raised their hand, I want to do a little bit of a promotion for another time that I get to be on with you guys. I am joined by 2 amazing, powerful women. Elisa and Giselle, and we come on Thursdays now. We just started. So on Thursdays, it is 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central for me. And we are studying and sharing and implementing really social media, some basic practices through even some strategies. So we started that just a few days, 2 days ago on Thursday. The recording is, Fernando had it streamed. So it's in our team page. If you missed it, go and look at that, because one of our action items, our homework, was to make a post about if your church has a financial platform, financial stewardship platform. And so it's a way to get some engagement for next Saturday's event. So I think somebody asked what time the event is next weekend, isn't it? Did you say it's 11 to 2 Eastern time, Dr. Parker?
Yes, ma'am. 11 a.m. to 2.
And again, those there's a great graphic in our groups, so you can find the graphic and the details there. So I just wanted to say, like, if you want to promote that, we have a great leading question. You could go to my page, Elisa's page, and see that. Oh, Elisa, come on, I want to hear from you, my friend.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I love these Saturday mornings, and I want to add that I posted this morning in my story, if you wanna see, and the text that I put on my Facebook page. I did it, with the next event, the July 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can copy and paste. But yes, we need to spread the word. And the word that we have something big, that we can help everybody, to be with free financial situations, be happy and continue their life, that, prosperity life. That we need to know that, and we need to do that. Well, thank you, Connie. And we are very excited to see you next Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time in social media classes. Thank you, Connie, for the opportunity. Have a nice and wonderful Saturday.
Thank you, my friend.
Isn't it great to work with like-minded people?
It's the only way. It is the only way.
I love it, man. The energy, I'm telling you, the love. This is beautiful. Well, I want to thank everybody who joined the platform this morning. You guys are the absolute best. We are so excited about the next level, where we're going with this, what we've done as it relates to laying the foundation. And look at who joins us. Look at who's a part of all of this with us. I mean, honestly, to wake up on a Saturday morning to dive into this and be with a group of like-minded people that believe what you believe, that see what you see, that understand that we all have the capabilities to win and win in a big way. Connie, again, thank you so much for all that you do. These Saturday mornings are the best, young lady.
Thank you, my friend.
My pleasure.
My pleasure always.
Absolutely. I'm giving Mr. McCray host position at this moment as we speak. The show is yours, sir. You can go ahead and launch your platform and get ready, guys. 11 a.m. Be ready. We got to get everybody on. I've got to make some calls right now to get some prospects in front of this, that we can get them closed out. Ben's going to do all the work for us this morning. So all you got to do is bring someone to the table. So this is awesome, guys. This is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, listen, if you don't have anything going on between now and 11, just hold the line. Stay on the platform. We're not closing it down. Mr. McCray has the host position right now. So he's going to get his wonderful jazz playing as always, I'm sure. So we're going to set the stage and get ready for 11 a.m.